Hello YouTube, Akanite here, and this tutorial I've been putting off for quite a while now, but it's my patch making tutorial. The reason being is because I feel, at least online anyway, there's a definite decline of people who are legitimately interested in the genre of music as opposed to, the aesthetic. You got literally everybody and their brothers on or sisters on Instagram um, who are, basically devoted to the aesthetic, but they hardly pay any heed to the genre. So these here patches, all painted by hand, and I'm about to paint you one on camera. So let's get started. You see, over here on the opposite side of my bed, next to the coat, is the supplies that I'm going to be using for the back of it. Because as you can see here, the back is currently bare, although I have pre-fitted it to myself since it was, at least at first, one or two sizes too large for me. So I'll have to cover up that back seam with this here back patch once that's complete. And I'm looking to do a design of the crow, but like my own version of the logo. With that said, let's get started. So this is the general setup that I usually have with me. My tablet off someplace towards the distance, but not too distant, of my working area, just so that I have a reference of the logos that I do. Right now, for instance, we have the Batcave, which for those uninformed was the first ever goth club, opened in 1983 by the band Specimen. We have the Eye of Horus here, which is the Egyptian symbol they used on the cover for the Sisters of Mercy album Vision thing. And I just got finished working on this here Joy Division patch because I mean, I figured it was appropriate. So, the idea is that the Joy Division patch is going to be on the upper part of the back, and then the crow patch is going to be towards the middle, whereas the Batcave will be across the right ham, and on the left will be the Eye of Ra, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure yet. Oh, and before I forget, these are the studs that I used for the front. I found them at Joann's. They they definitely have nickel in them, which I don't know if you're into that sort of thing. I don't really think it matters, but I use those, and I use like a screwdriver or whatever because I'm lazy and can't find proper tools to bend them in place like staples, which is, how you do it. But I'm gonna shut up now and finally get to painting. I feel the initial inspiration for the logo comes from a design such as this. But generally, I'm hoping for a more simplistic approach like this here patch I made on a separate design of mine. A separate article of clothing of mine, I should say. I should warn you ahead of time, though, there's going to be a lot of cutting in this video because this is hard to do with one hand. Hold on. Yeah, so like you just saw, there's going to be a lot of cutting and re-editing and such in this video. Because I just want this to be a simple, quick, tutorial. Short and sweet, to the point. Very informative as well. This here's the brand of paint that I've been using for several years now. I also have a bigger bottle here. So yeah, let's get started. My general rule of thumb here is to start with the middle letter first. In this case, it looks to nearly be the C of crow. So, yeah, I'm going to start with that as best I can. And I realize how long this is going to take, which is yet another reason I'm editing it all together. But the reason I even brought it up is because I realized that with as many edits and cuts as there's going to be, it's going to look like I'm almost faking it, like I'm not even doing this by hand, like, oh, he's using stencils or whatever. No, I've been doing this by hand for quite a while now, almost to the point where I don't even hardly recall what a stencil is anymore. I'm sorry if that sounds douchey, but it's candid. You can pre-trace the initial patterns of what you're going to be painting with like a black Sharpie and hold a stupidly bright white light over it, like I usually do. But whatever you do, make sure that the make sure that the ink is the exact same color as your, your base fabric. Because if you do what I did with my since when are black clothes, a costume t-shirt, and you use something like, I don't know, maybe a purple marker, eventually with as many washes as you're going to get out of that t-shirt, especially because it's a t-shirt, it's machine washable, you're going to end up really regretting your decision there to use purple, because it's going to be showing through like a sore thumb. It's going to turn your white lavender or something. So there. I usually just pick my brushes up at some place like Michael's, because they're affordable but still, a decent enough quality. I can say in all honesty that I'm also really liking those studs as well. I used to buy my studs at Michael's as well, but they were kind of small and a little too dark silver, if that makes sense. Alright, it's looking close. Oops. Don't you hate it when that happens? I just can't win here, can I? I had an easier time making that cereal box hemorrhage on April Fools. At first, I figured I could just as easily videotape myself doing this, and then fast forward it or whatever, but first of all, my editing skills are still in the works, if you couldn't tell already. And second of all, I just, well, frankly, I don't want you to have to put up with who knows how long this is going to take's worth of shaky cam, because I have no other way of... Wow, this is really fucking blurry. I have no other way of capturing myself as I do this. Yeah, okay, that's definitely better. I'd also like to quickly apologize for how terrible this light is, despite the fact that I have all three lights in this room on at the same time. Honestly, when my phone's this close to the canvas, this is like as best as you're gonna get. I mean, it's close, but it's not exact, which I guess that's how most of my work usually ends up looking, but I'm not complaining. I know how to touch it up, and this is only half the battle anyway, because this whole space here is going to be the bird eventually. Plus, either way, the work still isn't done, because I still have to go over it once or twice just to fully make it seem opaque enough. You can tell the difference between these two, for instance. This one's finished, whereas this one clearly has more to be done. Okay, hello YouTube, Zach Nafinakane here. I my phone ran out of juice before I could finish the tutorial, but this is I finished off camera because I just feel more comfortable painting that way. This is really all you missed. I just finished outlining the bird and then the eyes, and I went over it with like 3 or 4 layers of paint. I'm sorry, just don't blame me too badly. Blame my phone if you can, please. It is what it is, okay? Um, if you like, please like. Feel free to share your obscure little thoughts in the comments below, as well as to share the video itself. Subscribe if you wish to see more. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And as always, thank you so very much for watching. I love you all. And this tutorial was it was an adventure.